Welcome to the Homemade Mother. My name is Jasmine, and this is my channel. Today on the channel, we are doing another round of Christmas DIYs. Today, we're going to be doing 5 different ornaments that you can make from dollar store items. Now, I shop at Dollarama. That's probably my favorite store other than Winners. And all of these items are from this store, besides my glue gun. But literally everything else I have on this table is from the dollar store. And you can make really beautiful things with dollar store items. You just need to zhuzh them. Okay, so we have 5 ornaments that we're gonna be doing today. A bead strand, a 3D snowflake, holly berries, a rose ball, and a butterfly trio. All of these can be zhuzhed in your preferred style. My style is white, silver, and red. So all of my ornaments are gonna be in that color scheme. So we're gonna start off with the bead strand. And what you're gonna need is a bead that's kind of long and dangly, and then 3 others. So I have a diamond and 3 pearls. And that's what I'm gonna work with today. If they'll stay, they probably won't. And then you're also going to need some string. I've just got simple, shiny string that I'm going to be working with. You want to make sure that it isn't too thick of a string because it has to be able to be fed through the whole of your bead. And you want to make sure that it's long enough that you can string all 3 ornaments and have some room for your loop. My diamond bead is a sideways loop. So what I'm gonna do is actually feed my string through, and that's gonna be my middle point. Now ideally you want a bead like this because it'll keep your ends nice and tidy and all the way at the top. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this big plastic needle that I have. I'm pretty sure I got this from some random dollar store craft that I did once. And I'm gonna feed both ends of my string into this needle. You just want a little bit of the end sticking out. You don't need the whole thing. And then you're gonna feed your beads through. Now you don't necessarily need the needle to thread this, but I find it a lot easier than trying to stick the string through individually, especially because this dollar store string is not the most high quality, so it tends to fray a lot easier. We have all 3 beads on, and what I'm gonna do is, as close to the beads as possible, I'm gonna pull my string through. Now I'm going to take the ends, and I did end up cutting this a little bit longer than I needed, but I want a nice loop around it. And now I've got space to hang my ornament. I'm just gonna trim off the ends. Now with the dollar store string, I find that the best way to keep these ornaments nice and the string from fraying too much is to take a lighter and very carefully melt the tips so that they don't fray away. I'll probably do that later, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like this. There you have it. Really simple, really elegant Christmas ornaments. Now let's move on to our 3D snowflake, and for this I'm gonna need my glue gun. So I have these little plastic snowflakes and I really liked how they looked, but I don't want to hang them just like this. I think they're a little bit too cheap looking right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cut off, there's a little loop. I'm gonna cut off the loop on 2 of my 3 snowflakes. So now what we're gonna do is cut the snowflakes in half. Just 2 of them, not the third one. Now that we have 4 halves and 1 hole, we're gonna take our hot glue gun and draw a line right down the middle and then stick your snowflake on an angle. So now we've got 1 half of the snowflake. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side of it. Now we've got our snowflake. I'm going to take some ribbon, feed it through that hole at the top, give it a nice little loop. Make sure you trim the ends, don't keep them too long. And there you have it, a 3D snowflake. Now, with this one specifically, I would recommend having a really good quality glue gun because the dollar store glue guns, they're nice and they work, but for something like this where the plastic is a bit of a thicker material, you want a good quality glue. And I find that Gorilla Glue is the best one. When it glues, it glues and you don't have to worry about it coming apart. Whereas with the dollar store glue guns, I find that often after a while they wear out and you can easily pull them apart. So just keep that in mind. The other thing is just like the string with the ends so that they don't fray apart and look cheap, take a lighter and melt down the edges so that you keep a nice end. The next one we're gonna do is our holiday berries. And for this one, we're gonna need felt. You could do pretty much any color. I picked white because, again, it's in my color scheme. And I'm going to take a pencil and draw a leaf shape. Now I've got my leaf shape. I'm gonna take my scissors and trim them out. Now that I have my 3 leaf shapes, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold the one end and put a little bit of glue right there so that the leaf shape curves. Now I'm gonna take the 3 of them and I'm going to glue them together like this. They're glued together. Now I'm going to take a thin strand of floral wire and I like to give it a little bit of a shape. And then I'm going to glue the ends to either side. Now that I've got it glued on, I'm gonna take 3 red berries. I'm gonna trim down their stems. And then what I'm gonna do is glue them right at the top. So we're gonna cover up where we just glued everything together. There you have it, your holiday berries. The next one we are going to do is our rose ball. So what I did with these, first of all, was I took a silver marker, just drew along the edges here and there to add a little bit more to these paper roses. The next thing that I'm gonna do is add a little bit of snow sparkles to the petals of these roses to make it look like they've been snowed on. Now that I've added some sparkles, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the ends, these little wires, and I'm gonna twist them around so that they're wrapped around the back. Now that all the ends are tucked in, I'm going to take my first rose and I'm just gonna glue on the side. And I'm gonna stick 2 of them together. And I'm gonna do the same thing. So what I've done is basically created a square with my roses. And now I'm gonna add 1 onto the bottom to fill in that hole. Now, before adding my last rows on, what I'm gonna do is take some ribbon. You're gonna try to sneak it into that gap. Now we've got our ribbon in. We're gonna fill that last one in. And there you have it, a little Christmas rose ball. Okay, the last one we're gonna do is a butterfly trio. I found these little wood butterflies at the dollar store. They weren't white when I found them. I actually painted them white. You could paint them any color you want. And actually, you don't have to do butterflies. There are so many other shapes out there. You could do snowflakes or snowmen if you want to keep it in the Christmas realm, or there's like a ton of other shapes that you could be doing instead of butterflies. But you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you have a duplicate of each, because what we're going to do is actually stick them together by the end. So before we do that, we are going to add some Mod Podge to them and some glitter, because everything is better with glitter, right? Okay, we got our Mod Podge on. Now we're gonna add a layer of glitter just to the one side. I've got some silver glitter, so that's what I'm gonna put on. We've got our glitter on. You just wanna make sure that you tap the side so that any loose glitter falls off. Now we're going to take some of that string. You wanna make sure that you measure out enough string that you have space between each ornament, plus a little bit at the top to hang the ornament. And I'm doubling up because I think it'll look nicer with a double, and it'll be easier to tie off to hang up. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the one butterfly, and on the side that I didn't put glitter on, I'm gonna put some hot glue down the middle, stick the string on, and now I'm gonna take the other one and stick them together. So now, on either side, you got your butterfly. I'm gonna do that to the rest of them, making sure that I have a little bit of space in between each ornament. And when you're gluing them together, you wanna make sure that you keep the string nice and even between, and you also wanna make sure that you line them up pretty well. And then what we're gonna do is, like all the other ones, we're gonna give it a nice knot at the top, and there you have it, your butterfly trio. Or snowflakes, or reindeer, or whatever you decide. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a big thumbs up for me. And if you want to see more Christmas DIYs, please subscribe to my channel. I can't wait to see you next week. I'll tell you a little secret as to why. We're gonna do some Christmas baking! Yeah, that's right. The thing that I've been wanting to do this whole entire month, but have resisted the urge until now because you know I'm gonna eat all of those Christmas cookies, and I should really pace myself. So I'm giving myself, like, you know, only a month to eat them. I feel like that's more reasonable than 2. We'll see. But if you come back next week, I'm gonna show you my top 3 favorite Christmas cookies that I do every year, and they're both gluten and dairy free. So if you have friends or you are somebody who is gluten or dairy free, these cookies are totally for you, and they're actually pretty easy, and I would say the quality of them is like on point, but I might be a little biased. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you next week for some baking. Ta-ta for now.